Also, too, huge shout out to SaucerSwap Labs talking about sharing successes on, what day was this? On April 14th, 2 days ago, they just passed $1 billion in total trade volume. And, you know, for people that don't quite understand kind of the magnitude of that, like there's a momentum there. SaucerSwap is exponentially increasing. And, you know, it's one of those things where it's like it took, you know, a super long time to get to the first 100 million, a little bit less time to get to the next like 500 million. And then like, it felt like a snap of the finger, we're at $1 billion. So what is it going to look like getting to 2 billion? And these are the types of numbers that start to grab eyeballs in other ecosystems and start to make people go, huh, you know, what's going on over at Hedera? What's going on over at SaucerSwap? Another dub to take note of is Dovu. Dovu tweets out, did you know that Dovu is on Base? And this is another one that's great to see, is like a big pain point in the Hedera ecosystem is listings on centralized exchanges and other, you know, exchanges on other networks to make it easy for people to onboard to Hedera. And one theme that I'm seeing is not only more tokens and more HTS assets getting listed on exchanges and available in other ecosystems, but like we talked about this on the show recently, you know, in the recent weeks, SaucerSwap has made it clear that they're getting ready for not only listing their token on 2 major central exchanges, but also they're putting in the groundwork for other HTS assets to be integrated in those exchanges, right? Like clearing away, you know, all the different stuff in the pathway through the jungle. It's like once you can get sauce on an exchange and integrate that Hedera network, then, you know, sky's the limit at that point. It opens up the pathway for so many other tokens to get listed on these 2 major exchanges that they talk about. Lots of details. I think it's in their Discord and their recent, or not their recent AMA, but I think their last AMA. Jumping over to Bonzo Finance, which is like right in the wheelhouse of what we're talking about. Another thing that the ecosystem's been missing desperately is borrowing and lending, right? When you think about any market, really, that, you know, you depend on putting money to work, getting access to liquidity, borrowing and lending. Hedera just hasn't had that. So Bonzo Finance, I had them on the show last week. No, not last week, the week before. Had them on the show for a long convo with Brady and Garang, and that was fantastic. Learned a ton. But the news out of Bonzo Finance right now is they've got Jason Fabriz to join Bonzo Finance, and Jason's well known in the Hedera ecosystem. You know, he's a, you know, hardcore dev in the space, understands the network really well, was at Galaxy, now is at Bonzo Finance. Another theme I'm seeing, we got this like merger and acquisition vibe, people jumping teams, people moving, like that's movement, right? When we talk about the Hedera network and feeling maybe stagnant or ghost chain or whatever, it's like, actually what's happening right now is there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of new things coming. And there's a lot of things that we've really needed coming to the network. Like I think Bonzo Finance is going live or is live on testnet already. So they're doing their audits and stuff, and they're supposed to be, you know, live, ready to go this summer. So it's like things are heating up, and they're heating up really, really quickly. And I mean, yeah, it's hard to stay focused and stuff with everything going on, but that's what I'm trying to do. On the DeFi topic, another exciting story is HashPort has received a 4th grant for their infrastructure. And I mean, this is definitely, you know, a contentious topic for a lot of people because HashPort is the only bridge for Hedera, right? And what does that mean? Well, a bridge is how someone, let's say on, you know, Algorand or Cardano or Solana or whatever, would be able to take those assets that they have and bridge them to the Hedera network to have their, you know, Solana or Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever on Hedera, and then interact with you know, the Hedera network. Bridges are so important for bringing that outside liquidity into the network. The crazy thing is we only have, you know, one bridge, and it's HashPort, and we've had it this whole time. It would be really great for this ecosystem to have, you know, multiple bridges, of course. And I think that That's one thing that's, a side issue. But the other thing is that HashPort needs to be supported. Like if that is our only bridge, the reality is they are generating revenue for this network. They have been, dedicated to this network for a while. So it's good to see them supported, and we need that infrastructure for, this next cycle. And I think that, I think one thing that people are always talking about is we need to add support for Solana. I think the one major ask for HashPort is we need to have support for Solana on HashPort. I think that if there's any network out there that's ripe for having people migrate from that network to Hedera, it's Solana. And not having that support in HashPort, I think, is going to be a big blocker, but also an opportunity if you can, provide a, bridge that has Solana support. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Hedera community would go wild. But shout out to HashPort holding it together. They've been holding it together for years for this ecosystem. So I dig it.